Alright, welcome to the first game between Mr. Yo here and Classic Pro. Mr. Yo in the blue and Classic Pro in the yellow. Perfect. This is also a best of what was it? A best of 5, right? So let's change that already so we can see that. Boom, perfect. And we'll change this name to Mr. Yo so it's clear and just Classic Pro. Wow. Well, we can leave this on white wolf palace and then just Mr. Yo. There we go. Return on the map. All right, now we can get started. Perfect stuff. A little bit of a hiccup there, but we are all good to go. Awesome stuff. Oh, right. I forgot to turn off that mod that I had turned on yesterday. Oops. Okay, well, I'll turn it off in between games, but in any case, don't worry about this. It is a Scout Cavalry, trust me on that one, even though it looks like a unit from Age of Empires 1. Also the Scout Cavalry there, so it's not like it's that much different, but it's totally fine. In any case, looks like to me at least that Capture Age is the sound is very soft, so I'm gonna put the update volume a little bit higher here, just a little bit, so we can hear a bit better. There, now we can get started. You know, the first game of the day. It's not just stressful for the players. It is also stressful for casters to get started, of course, especially when you just come into this awesome tournament halfway, basically, because we already had the qualifiers in which 512 players got to try to qualify, and one of them is Classic Pro, by the way, a professional player, or as he calls himself, a semi-professional player from the Ukraine, who's an up-and-comer, I'd say. You know, he's I think 26 years old, so he's like right around my age, actually. So he's not, you know, one of the, you know, he's I think he was like a protege of Winchester as well. Like they work together, you know, they're in the same team. So really excited to see what Classic Pro can do here against a veteran of the game. And we're talking about Mr. Yo, the legendary Mr. Yo, who was one of the first players to actually get the better of the Viper in the period of time that the Viper absolutely dominated the tournament scene. I mean, Red Bull Wololo 1 was a great example of that, you know. That was Mr. Yo's victory, even though he couldn't return for Red Bull Wololo 5, which was, of course, a shame, but due to a certain global thing that's going on right now that we shall not name because, well, you know, we don't want to be reminded of that while we're looking at something awesome like this. In any case, but yeah, Mr. Yo is a very dangerous player, very aggressive, very good with macro as well, you know, and yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about these players, man. This is the absolute creme de la creme. We're talking about professional players here. They will, if anything, they will know exactly what they're going to be doing. As Classic Pro here, going for a pre-milled rush. So you're not seeing a mill just yet. Instead, he is, you know, as Britons, by the way. Did I not say what civs they played? Jeez. Pro casting right here, man. So Classic Pro is playing as the Britons in the yellow, and Mr. Yo is playing as the Franks in the blue. Oh god, that's such a beginner's mistake, man. In any case, yeah, pre-milled drush. You can get a drush in like this just a teensy bit earlier than a mill. It does hurt your economy a little bit, of course, but I think Britons with their hurtable bonus, you know, it's easy to get a lot of early food, so you can actually afford stuff like that. So it's going to be early militia for Classic Pro. He probably feels like against Mr. Yo, who is probably seen as the top player here, seen as, you know, the Classic Pro probably seen as the underdog, as I think Mr. Yo also stole some goats, maybe, or not, depends if you went to yellow space. No, just his goats. Yeah, so probably Classic Pro feels like he needs to do something out of the ordinary, right? Like, I mean, pre-milled rush has been, you know, established as part of the meta at this point, but you know, it's still a very risky strategy to go for, because if you cannot get value from it, your opponent's just going to go to Feudal Age, and it's just going to go and outboom you after that. As Classic Pro getting close to DC, steals a goat, actually, which, you know, any goat you can take, we got it, go to heaven, huh? take some shots from the TC, but we're good here. So yeah, so what Classic Pro is going to do behind this, he's going to go up the feudal age later because you are necessarily delayed by going for a pre-milled rush, but he wants to stop Mr. Yo from easily getting to feudal age, as Mr. Yo now seeing the militia quick walling in the villager, but this mill is on a hill, and it's so difficult to wall in your villagers like that. That is why having a hill is so difficult, and Classic Pro blocking the villager gets the kill with a 2 militia pre-milled rush. This is really good for Classic Pro. A good start to the game for him. And now look at all the idle time that Mr. Yo is going to have trying to wall all this in. And remind you, this house foundation has -2 melee armor. And look how fast that goes down. Look at that. These are 2 militia and they just got the house down about 70 HP. I'm telling you, house walling has been severely nerfed, and they are playing with the new patch. They are playing with the new tournament settings. That makes it a lot more easy for casters and for players to stay with the right version. So, you know, we might actually see some different kind of shenanigans in 1v1, especially infantry, especially unique infantry, and I'm excited for that, honestly. I really am. Does the combat sound a little high now? Now it looks really high to me. So let me change that a little bit there. There we go, perfect. Wow, Zergwa, good morning to you, man. I honestly did not expect our late afternoon birds to show up here, man. I really appreciate that you could make it. I really do. Good to see you, man. As Mr. Yo, of course, does make it to feudal age, so it's going to be scouts for him. Obviously, it's Frank's. That's like the easiest game plan in the world. As Classic Pro taking a hit on his scout. Aye. He is on the way to feudal age though, so he's good. He has a good time behind that. Made 2 more militia. I'm not sure what that was for, but well, at least he has 4 militia now. I mean, he's gonna get men at arms as well. Wow. Okay. So we go from a pre-milled rush and we turn it into a man-at-arm rush. I mean, I'm all here for it. And he wasn't actually that far delayed either, which probably the fact that he only made 2 militia at first, that probably helps as well. And honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Oh, you like my scout mod, huh? Yeah. I'm not sure. I forgot. I totally forgot about it. So I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna keep it. But it's kind of funny to look at Age of Empires 1 scouts and Age of Empires 2. They look kind of funny. To me. Also, the attack animation for these is I think a bit too long, so sometimes they don't finish their attacks, even though they do damage, which is kind of funny. Well, 4 men-at-arms now making their way to Mr. Yo's berries, and these men-at-arms are scary. As this villager, that's not a fight you want to be taking, honey. That is not a fight you want to be taking. Of course, the spearmen will easily go down to men-at-arms. And remember that men-at-arms now have 1 melee armor. They're a lot stronger than they were before. A lot scarier to take on with your scouts. And Mr. Yo, you know, he's waiting for a good number of scouts to take the fight here. Because you don't want to take this fight too early, because the men-at-arms will absolutely wreck your scouts. But I think with 5 scouts and the spearmen to distract as well, I think the men-at-arms will go down here. The question is how much HP has been lost on the scouts. Quite a bit. You know, they went down to at least half their top HP for these 4 units. Lost the scout as well. I think in the end, Mr. Yo will be okay with that. Only losing 1 villager. You know, he's 1 villager behind, as you can see. 2, actually. And for the rest, it's okay. It's okay. Now, one thing that's a little bit concerning here for Classic Pro is the fact that, well, he's not fully walled. He's trying to go forward with archers here, but Mr. Yo, of course, is going to catch that off guard. He's going to sit here. Can easily snipe any reinforcement that come through. Yeah, Classic Pro has to go for the quick walls on his gold villagers. There's 5 villagers on gold, only 1 archer range. So this tells me that he wants to get up to the next age as fast as he possibly can without making too much military. On the front here, Mr. Yo blocking these archers from coming through. He was building a house, quickly dropped another foundation to block these archers, so they'll have to walk around now. To join up, and it looks like he's actually bringing his scouts back, Mr. Yo, in order to snipe these archers first. You know, he just doesn't want to take any more damage. But as far as I'm concerned, as he gets housed, house there for Mr. Yo, maybe with the first game jitters, or you know, just the fact that he's a normal human being, and we don't always remember to build houses. I think most people here can relate to that one, especially a certain Norwegian player, huh? That's yeah, one spearman that Classic Pro brought forward, taking out 2 scouts. A 3rd one goes down. So in the end, I think Classic Pro will be very happy with this. Lots of these scouts are weak. There's only one almost full HP scout here. So in the end, this ends up being pretty nice for Classic Pro. I'd say, like, this is, it's okay. It's okay. We're in a good spot here for both players. Like, we have a 2 villager lead here for Classic Pro after all of that. You know, he's still alive. Hasn't fully walled his base yet, but he's gonna try to get there. His base was kind of difficult to wall. He has 4 wood lines actually, but all those wood lines kind of appeared on one side. So it's a rather odd base, honestly. Mr. Yo's base is easier to wall. He's gonna go for some big walls as well. Look at that. That's some impressive crazy walls here. As looks like Classic Pro is gonna send his archers back. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. I think he's trying to wall this, but the villager's on the wrong side. The wrong side of the... Did she just walk into the archery range? Okay, that's what's weird. Anyways, the villager does go down, and for the first time, Mr. Yo getting a villager snipe as well. But yeah, with 2 scouts, it's going to be difficult to continue getting more vill snipes. One thing that's concerning here, though, is, like, remember that I said that Classic Pro wants to get up to Castle Age as fast as possible? Well, he's not going to be as up as fast as Mr. Yo here. They have a similar number of farmers, but Mr. Yo just has more food, but actually is gonna get some skirmishers out as well. Probably really anxious about the potential of Britain's on Arabia. Like, Britain's not being banned is well, I mean, Frank's not being banned. I mean, those are 2 civilizations that I would definitely ban, considering how much they're picked, considering how strong they are. As now, ooh, yeah, Mr. Yo defending with some skirmishers, but these skirmishers do not have armor just yet, which means that they're not as good against archers. Classic Pro can still micro this down with some micro here and there, dodging shots left and right, and Mr. Yo joining up with 2 more skirmishers now can easily take out the spearman. And yeah, I think Classic Pro will have to run away. The wall up was denied for a second there, but I think now, yeah, we'll just have to abandon that, and the wall will go up for Mr. Yo, and he will have a very nicely built walled base. The only concerning thing is that most of his wood lines are rangeable. Right in the base, he only has 1 safe wood line in the back of his base now, which that's unfortunate. As another thing that's unfortunate is that the scouts for Mr. Yo finding these archers, 1 archer goes down to the scouts, another to the skirmishers, and boom, 3 archers down. That's really nice. And this is also how you counter Britons, by the way. This is how you counter Britons. Now, the fact is that Classic Pro wasn't going to make a whole lot of archers in Feudal Age anyways, but the fact is also that Britons get really dangerous the more archers they mass. Like, Britons with 30 crossbows in the next age, in Castle Age, that's scary. That's some scary stuff right there. So you don't want to get stuck against a ball of archers. So what you need to do is just take early engagements early on against a smaller group of archers and try to kill as many as you can. As of course there's a hole. Of course there is a hole in the wall. Ah, crap. And yeah, Classic Pro now realizing, oh, there's a hole. But yeah, I don't think Mr. Yo is gonna let him easily get to this hole here. He's gonna be as annoying as he can with his archers. As Classic Pro has clicked up to the Castle Age, so he will at least be there. But he's gonna be about well, at least a minute and a half behind here, which it's concerning because you're up against Franks, and we all know what's going to come out of the Frank stables once they hit Castle Age, honestly. Yeah, and this is still very annoying, like these few skirmishers, because Classic Pro does not want to. He does not want to sacrifice his. It doesn't want to sacrifice his archers against these skirmishers. Instead, he's going to make a few. He's using a starting scout probably. I think that's his. No, that can't be a starting scout. He made this scout specifically to kill the skirmishers. That's good. Yeah, I mean, there's always a freaking hole, man. There's always a freaking hole somewhere. Especially if the map is hilly like this. Like, look at these hills. I bet there's a hole right there as well. Between the archer range and the house. Would not surprise me. Okay, so skirmishers go down. But Mr. Yo, going to Castle Age, is immediately going to make a few knights from 2 stables there. Knights coming out. Not really what you want to be seeing if you're still in Feudal Age. He's also going to drop an extra town center on the wood in the back and the gold there as well. To start taking those resources and maybe add some villagers, which is more important for the cavalry player because, you know, cavalry is expensive. Also came forward with a siege workshop here on Classic Pro's base. Something that Classic Pro will not be aware of just yet because he doesn't have any vision right now. He can't move out with his archers. There's a good reason for that. Well, that reason is right there. As these knights are looking for a way in. It still looks like there should be a hole right there, but I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay. Because otherwise these knights would path into that hole immediately. as crossbow comes in, botkin arrow comes in, and now these crossbows can take a fight against the knights, although the knights already have +2 armor, just saying. Like, Mr. Yo immediately investing in that extra pierce armor, and melee armor, I guess, but it's really the pierce armor that's important in this matchup. And I think that's a smart idea. I think that's smart, because you want to... if you know you're going to be fighting ranged units, you might as well get that armor upgrade. I know you can get a few more knights out if you don't get the armor upgrade, and that's definitely true. As Classic Pro trying to drop a DC on the gold on the right, and Mr. Yo finding that with his knights here. It's denying that DC for now, and oh, that sucks for Classic Pro. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that at all. Losing a bunch of villagers to Eco Kitty is now 4-1, and these little things here, which seem little, are actually huge. They're actually huge, and this is so frustrating about playing an archer player against knights. Look at that, the wood line being the knight here. Villagers have to run home. They're trying to keep the knights out of the economy. I like the fact that we have a monastery which spawns priests now. Awesome. That we have a monastery here for Classic Pro trying to get some conversions. Does get a conversion on the knight, but it's not looking too hot here for Classic Pro. And I definitely took some damage there. That's 8-3 Eco KD now. On the other side, though, and this is one thing that always impresses me about pro players, that what most players would have done in this situation is immediately throw back all their archers. Immediately. All the archers go home. Instead, what pro players do, they try to go forward, right? And try to get damage in themselves. And there are a lot of there's a lot of damage to be done here. Is there a way to make the chat appear faster in the stream? There's a delay of like 2 minutes. Damn, 2 minutes? Man, that sucks. Yeah, that's... I'm not actually sure. I am not actually sure. Are you like actually talking about me reacting to your chat? Or is it like literally the chat in the stream that you can see down here, right? Because that's... I'm not sure if that's the same or not, but... yeah, there's just going to be a delay, of course, from my end to your end. It also depends on the internet, but also depends on... you know, how much priority Twitch gives to a stream like mine. And, you know, the fact that I'm a small channel, I don't think Twitch servers are going to be very on time with necessarily with my stream. That's not something I have a lot of control over, I think. I can look into it, though. That would make chatting a lot more easy, honestly. So yeah, this Mangonel is pushing away these villagers. Fortunately, Classic Pro not able to get a whole lot of kills here. The Knights taking engagement against the crossbows as well. And the question is, what do you do here? Do you try to save your crossbows and try to snipe the Knights? Do you try to go for villagers here? Okay, so my reaction here is time is not the worst. Okay, well that's good at least. That's good. I'll try to think about maybe the delay between the chat and well, it appearing in game. I'll try to look that up sometime, you know, when I have some more time than now, of course. So Classic Pro trying to hit from the right. Mr. Yo reacting to that. I don't think he got a kill. No, he didn't. It's still 4-8 Eco KD. So, yeah. Now, one thing is though is that all this extra night production has caused a lot of idle time for Mr. Yo, which is why he's actually behind in the vill count, despite getting to 2 town centers first. So that's not the worst for Classic Pro here. He's moving out with his crossbows once again. Mr. Yo, of course, still trying to put on some pressure here against the Britain player. There's a hole here. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous, especially because Classic Pro does not have that many crossbows on the field. I mean, he has 30. It's a good number. I'm not sure where half the army is, actually. I'm trying to appear on a mini-map. Okay, on the top, that's where it is. The Mangonel now comes out, which is exactly what his knight is here. Oh, a nice shot there for Yo on the crossbows. A few of those are weak now. Also, the fact is that Classic Pro has his armies divided. Probably wants to join up with these crossbows now. That makes sense. Alrighty. Vill count 67-61, so a pretty significant Vill lead for Classic Pro here, despite having being behind in score. That's also mostly due to the KD, if you can see, 45-25. Lots of archers that have gone down for Classic Pro in the meantime. Killing archer players definitely leads to a better KD, unless if you don't kill archer players. In that case, you are very likely to have a very bad KD. That's just how archer players work. Either they kill everything or they just die hopelessly. Like, you need to get a ball of military out. And in the case of Classic Pro, what he really needs is at least 40 crossbows, because with 40 crossbows, you can start one-shotting these knights. Oh, God! Oh, that was a big shot there on the crossbows. And I just said, ay, 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 ay. 40 crossbows necessarily one-shot knights, but you're not going to get there if you keep losing crossbows here to a mangonel. And I agree, a counter siege workshop would be very nice here. Something to defend yourself against the mangonels, because it's 2 on the field already, and Classic Pro is just defending with crossbows for now. He can't move out either, because if he does that, the knights and the mangonels will immediately run in here, will immediately snipe his gold. It's a peculiar situation here, as he has switched into pikemen here as well. Interesting choice. I kind of like that. If you're going to go up against Franks, you can expect a lot of cavalry, of course. Going for some pikemen, not the worst. As Mr. Yo is trying to raid the woodline with his mangonels here, and the Classic Pro is like, no, 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 no. Opens the walls though to let his villagers out to attack, and almost lets these knights in. Almost lets the knights in. As the pikemen were trying to go for the mangonel. I think they got one mangonel here, but the other one is still alive. It will be repaired by this repair field that is forward as well. And they are on the hill as well. Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. Just saw that message as well. This is, I mean, as far as positioning goes, this is a really nice position for Mr. Yo to take. It denies this gold. It's on a hill. It's difficult for Classic Pro to stop this. You kind of have to fight in this choke point, you know, which is difficult for both players, honestly, to push through. So yeah, it's a great position from Mr. Yo. And the fact of the matter is, he has all the mobility in the world. He can strike from any side he wants. If he wants to go and hit the woodline on the other side with his knights, he could. It's not like Classic Pro can easily move out beyond this siege workshop just yet. Not with archers, but the archer number is growing. It is definitely growing here. It's 84 to 86 villagers now. Like, the vill counts have evened out a lot. As, oh god, dude. Oh. That, I don't know how that didn't kill more crossbows. I have no idea. That was so bunched up in the middle there. Nice split micro from Classic Pro as he's using his pikemen to push out across the map. At the same time though, Mr. Yo hitting the town center on the other side. Classic Pro going for some desperate house walls on the woodline. But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't really have anything to deal with this right now. He has to send pikemen over to the other side if he wants to do that. His army this time has to come around to the other side as well. But I don't think it's going to be in time to save this town center. I don't think so. Mr. Yo attacking with the proper amount of knights, and villagers are going to go down here. He's going to try to run away with them, and oh, Mr. Yo not responding to this. The villagers might actually get away. Pikemen here to try to stop the knights as well. Might give enough time maybe for Classic Pro to bring his crossbows around. He's actually going around the outside, you know, trying maybe to trap these knights inside his own base. And pikemen at the same time taking a fight over here. Ooh, pikemen versus knights. This is actually not a bad fight for Classic Pro, given the situation, you know, given the fact he's also being attacked on the other side. But so much is happening right now. Classic Pro, his crossbows were on the outside of his base, couldn't really react to the knights in the front. On the front, there's so many knights for Mr. Yo now. The pikemen, of course, going down because, well, they are the weaker unit. And a castle going up now for Classic Pro, for Mr. Yo. Right on the woodline for Classic Pro. Right on this TC for Classic Pro. There's knights everywhere on your base. The vill count is now 98 to 80. The gold is getting hit. So many villagers are getting slaughtered right now, and this is this is the disaster scenario. Disaster scenario for the archer player, and Classic Pro taps out, Mr. Yo taking the first game. Alrighty. Oof. Well, that was a pretty good game to start. You know, I must say, like Classic Pro, he says that he calls it GG here. Got a good early, like really early lead with his pre-mill rush. That actually was really nice. Got a villager kill as well. Set Mr. Yo back to the point where Classic Pro was almost up to fuel age at the same time. Even if fuel age was very even, I wouldn't say either side really won that. Or, you know, Mr. Yo primarily defended during the fuel age. But the castle age, I don't know. It's just so easy for Franks to just make some knights, boom behind it, and then just get into damage, man. It's just so easy. And you can see like Classic Pro is getting to that number of crossbows, but these crossbows have one fatal weakness. They have to be in the same spot at the same time. If they are split up, they can't take fights against +2 knights easily anymore. It's just so difficult. So you can't really address an attack from both fronts. And that was really smart from Mr. Yo to open the floodgates here. Not try to go to Imp, but instead just go straight for a spam of knights here. That was perfect, man. Great job casting, thank you. But do you want to turn off the AoE 1 mod? I actually do. I really do, because I had that on yesterday accidentally because of the what's the word here? The challenge that you have right now for the anniversary challenge for Age of Empires. It came in the mod pack. Honestly, I had no idea what the hell was in that, but yeah, that's why it was still on. So I'm gonna turn it off now. I kind of forgot about that yesterday. So no worries, we got this. Yeah, 74 crossbows though, but in the end only had 37 on the field. So he did take a few losses there. Now, if you don't mind me, I don't want to overanalyze this game in particular because I haven't had a chance to talk about the draft really because, well, they started with this game before I finished that. And also, I have to turn off a mod. So, yeah, great KD there for Mr. Yo. 119 kills, only 56 losses. Yeah, I mean, he already got a lead early on with military. Castle Age was Mr. Yo's. Definitely was. And looks like these players are actually quite... similar. As we see this giant spike, that right there is militia. Great, wasn't sure if you wanted it out and didn't want you to forget. Well, thank you, man, thank you. And also welcome to chat, according to Twitch at least. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna turn off that mod real quick now, so we have that. Let's see, I'm actually not sure how many mods I have to turn off now. So let's see. Installed mods, we'll just look at official mods. That's easier. Let's see, anniversary, small trees. Well, it's not here. Damn it. Which is it? Oh god. Okay, there you go. Wololo sounds. Okay, I'm gonna keep the Wololo sounds though. That's Mandarin Resort, that could go out. That one goes out. That one's out of the picture as well. Okay. Legionary champions though. I like the priests though, maybe. Nah, we'll just keep a monk. We'll keep a monks for now. And do we want legionary champions? Nah, let's not. We'll do that for casting sometime. That could be fun. Town center decorations, we'll take that off too. But I'm keeping the Wololo monk sounds because I like the Wololo monk sounds. That's fun to me. So we'll keep those. Alrighty, perfect. Let me check the Discord real quick here to see if they're already starting with Game 2. Crap, they're already starting with Game 2. There's no pause between for these players. They are going hard at this. We don't even get to talk about the map draft, but I'll show it to you really quickly before we go into the next game. Here you go. You can see that we can already do this, so we now know which is which. So we got Byzantines for Mr. Yo, Burgundians, Mongols, Huns, Franks was just used, and Celts. Then we have Berbers, Lithuanians, Vikings, Ethiopians, and Vietnamese left for Classic Pro. And Wololo, classic Wololo. Hilarious. Okay, well, I just wanted to give you a quick look at this because the fact of the matter is there's no time to waste here because they already started with the next game and we wanna your stream, you should do whatever you want. This is true. If I really wanted to go for continue going for the weird scouts, I totally would. But the thing is, it confuses me too, man. Exactly. I agree. I'm glad you're a Wololo man as well. Very good. Oh, there's the game. Let me get into this. Because I do want to keep up a little bit with the schedule. Because if you fall behind too much, you're never gonna make it. Also, if you wait too long, right, and then they already finished the next game before you get into it to spectate, it might the spectate link might not work, which will make things more awkward either. Although, you know, that's what AoE2.net is for, so it's we're all good there. And of course, we have that error message now. Perfect. No worries, though. Awesome. Alrighty. Let's go to the second game here between Classic Pro in the yellow and Mr. Yo in the blue. And let's see what civilizations we have gone for. Mr. Yo picking Huns here. Very, very aggressive civilization. And Classic Pro instead has gone for Lithuanians in the yellow. Perfect. And of course, the map is still King of the Desert for Arabia. You know, the Arabia that you will now see in the ranked map pool, which I think most people are very happy about. You know, one thing, look at that. Have you seen this? I have not seen this freaking pond, this kind of a pond, in months. Maybe like most of the year, it has been taken out of the normal Arabia, and I'm so happy to see it's back. Even if some people say that's not real Arabia, it just looks pretty. Look at it, the nice color of blue, the box turtles. What's not to like? I don't get it. Also, it makes it hard to wall, because people sometimes forget to wall the inside of these ponds, which is very nice. Any case. Oof. Vikings without Thumbring is just one option. I thought still have one of the best eco. Yeah, Vikings isn't a map in the Civ draft. That's true, and they are, you know, despite getting nerfed a little bit, they still have a great economy. And I wonder if Vikings gets picked, if we're going to get to see some infantry shenanigans. I wonder. It has been buffed. It might actually be a possibility now. We'll see. Don't think we're going to see a lot of infantry in this game. This is going to be a cavalry showdown. Unless Mr. Yo, of course, decides to shake it up a little bit. Now, and that's something we could probably talk about, you know, while we talk about just the possibilities for players here. We should also have a look at the map this time around, because we didn't really get to because of that pre-milled drush last time. You know, if you look at that. In any case, looks like... you know, 4 wood lines for everyone, a pond for everyone as well. Look how equal it is. I think this map is very wallable. The wood lines aren't that close to the DC, actually, so it's not like it's not a lot of walling. And remember, palisade walls are more expensive now, and house walls are way weaker in Dark Age and Feudal Age. So it's walling early is difficult. As you can see, -2 pierce armor, melee armor. I mean, it's and I think 1 less pierce armor as well, because that used to be 8. Pretty sure. In any case. Has a gold in the back though for Mr. Yo. There's a hill right here, so if he doesn't wall around this and enemy military can sit on that hill, it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be very awkward. There's a gold on the other side of his base. I prefer it where my golds are spread out, because if 1 gold gets denied, it's going to if 1 gold gets denied, it means you don't have to worry about losing all your gold at the same time, and then a forward gold as well for Classic Pro. And I agree. I am looking forward to seeing Viking infantry at some point. You know, they were always said to be an infantry civ. I just haven't seen it ever, because, well, archers were such an easy way to go with Vikings. For Mr. Yo, wait. Oh, am I gonna have to restart my game here? I'm gonna have to restart my game, I think. Damn. Okay, well, we'll try to do that next time then. Overall, really like the changes to infantry. It was just about never used, which was a shame. I agree. Like, I remember casting infantry showdowns between pros, and I was marking it as an exceptional thing that pros were using infantry. Like, there was this game where both Doubt and Tato just went for long swords with Teutons and Goths. It was a lot of fun, though. But yeah, exactly. It's just such a special thing. It never gets used as, ooh, Mr. Yo getting close to losing a ville there. But of course, has that worked out perfectly, gets the boar. The rhino, I mean. Yeah, that's the thing. No more boars in Arabia. Rhinos have a bit more food. They're a bit more aggressive as well. So you won't see any boars on the King of the Desert for Arabia anymore. Forward berries here for Mr. Yo. That's something that he will probably be concerned about. He's also taking wood there, so this is a very important area for Mr. Yo to defend, especially with this hill right next to it. Some gold, some stones as well. Main gold is kind of to the side, maybe. It's not really forward as far as I'm concerned, but still right next to a hill. So, hey, Arabia is a fickle temptress. Mistress, that's the word. In any case, both players almost going up around the same time, but the Lithuanian player going up a little bit earlier. And there's a good reason for that. You start with 150 food at the start of the game, which makes your early game so smooth. It really does. Honestly. I think when I first heard about that bonus, I thought, well, that's worth absolutely nothing. I was so wrong about that, man. I really was when I first came out. It's just... It seemed like it was such a little deal, and indeed, if you play like a low elo legend, I guess it doesn't really matter, as Classic Pro is pushing in his deer, or his ostrich and zebra, but yeah, Mr. Yo is here with his scout. Classic Pro, though, is gonna get up to Fuel Age first here. He's gonna get up to Fuel Age first, and now he can chase down his scout for Mr. Yo. Yeah, Mr. Yo taking the fight there, maybe not realizing that Classic Pro was up, and he can't run away from this now. He's gonna try to get uphill to maybe do as much damage as he can to this scout, but yeah, Classic Pro getting a lot of value here. Mr. Yo now making it to Fuel Age, can run away again, but look at that. That scout is at such low HP. That's a small lead here for Classic Pro, but considering it's going to be scouts for both players. At least I would be surprised to not see scouts from either player here. And why this is so important is very simple. It's because when your scouts come out, you know, your starting scout is part of your army. It just is. And if it's full HP, it can actually count as 1 scout, as Classic Pro immediately reacting to the spearman runs away. Very nice. But if your scout is at low HP like this, you basically have to wait 1 more scout before you have a nice starting army. Like 3 scouts is a great number of scouts to do things with. You can like consistently kill villagers with that. Whereas with 2 scouts, it's doable. you know, it's very doable, but if there's multiple villagers, it gets tricky. With 3 scouts, it's really difficult to fight. That's something you would run away from. Which is why, for Classic Pro, he only needs 1 more scout, and he already has 3 scouts. For Mr. Yo, he needs way more scouts for that. So instead, he's making a bunch of spearmen as well to protect himself. Because he knows he can't win the early scout engagements. He knows. That's not going to be possible for him. Both players also get double bit X and horse collar. This is just your standard scout build. What you'll see now is after sending some vills to wood, most of these villagers will go to farms now. Will go just for wood and food economy, which is just a standard fare for scout players. Classic Pro runs through Mr. Yo's base with the spearman there to defend. I don't think he can find a lot of damage. Lots of walling for Mr. Yo as well if you look at it. And remember, this is more expensive now. I mean, it's they say that if you have 10 wall pieces that used to cost 20 wood, now it costs 30 wood. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. It's only 10 wood difference. But if you're walling, like, say, 100 wall pieces, instead of 200 wood, it's 300 wood now. That's pretty significant in the early game, actually. Later on, it doesn't really matter, but nor do palisade walls, honestly. So, that's also what I like here is the fact that Mr. Yo, as you can see, this scout is not with the main army. It's because he's probably going to scout around with that scout. Probably. Yeah, he's probably just looking to see where these scouts are going. I mean, it would make sense to me, although he just group him up with his full HP scouts now. So maybe not, maybe not. That's what I would do, by the way. I would use this scout to just scout the rest of the map. If I'm not really going to use it to take engagements here. Although, you know, 1 weak scout, another weak scout, maybe take it with you anyways. As the Wallville had to run away from the wall is still not up, and Classic Pro is going to be anxious to try to make sure that it doesn't go up, because he wants to still be able to get in there, especially since his wall isn't nearly as finished as Mr. Yo's. And look at the crazy walling that Mr. Yo is doing here. And this is why I'm always saying, like, you know, people that wanted that open Arabia that we had last iteration don't realize that good players, if they want to wall, they will wall. They will wall. They get their walls up. Trust me. Good, skilled players will always get their walls up, and even, you know, skilled wallers will get their wall up. It's really the aggressive players that can't switch into more defensive strategy that complain about the walling, in my experience. Or of course, you know, when you make a scout rush and then suddenly it's a full wall for your opponent, and then your scouts are absolutely useless. I understand the frustration there. I like to play scouts as well. That's a matter of bringing an archer forward or something like that, or a tower. But yeah, in any case, a player like Mr. Yo is definitely going to get to wall if he wants to wall. If he doesn't want to wall, he's not going to wall. Like, he doesn't have to wall. He can, though. And I must say, King of the Desert 4 is quite balanced in that, perspective. You can wall maps, but it's not too easy. Like, this map wasn't, like, really simple to wall. Mr. Yo still made a lot of military here, to defend himself. He still continuously has to deal with these scouts in the back of his base, but these scouts are trapped now because I don't think they will be able to get out here now. Yeah, so spearmen are hunting this down. More scouts. I mean, all that Mr. Yo has to do now is take a fight, and Classic Pro, of course, wants to try to get away from this, but Mr. Yo with trying to surround him with the spearmen, but that is not working out all the way. And actually, I can just do this right there. Look at that. Look at that. Classic capture rates pro for the winning. Woo! Now, we should also be looking at some other stuff, such as vill counts. It's 35 villagers for Mr. Yo, only 32 for Classic Pro, but Classic Pro does have wheelbarrow, which roughly translates to 3 villagers. So he's actually not behind. His economy right now is more efficient than Mr. Yo's. You can tell, look at that. Worker efficiently last minute, 78% against 72, or 73 almost. I love capture rate so much, man. Look at that. That's perfect. And it does tell you, so basically you trade 3 villagers for a more efficient economy, and in the end, that means that the fewer villagers that you have, right, he has 3 fewer villagers, but all those villagers that Classic Pro has are working more efficiently. I think that evens out after that. And look at that, he is the first to click up to the castle here. Mr. Yo is not far behind though. Both players have a good number of farms. But yeah, the farmers for Classic Pro especially are way more efficient. You can actually tell. Look at this. A capture rate's added this recently. Look at that. This is the efficiency for villagers last minute, as you can see. Right? And as you can see, so much time is spent here on moving and not on getting food. And that's because you're a farmer. And while if you look at Classic Pro's villagers, say we take the same 4 villagers on the left side, look at the difference. Look at that difference, right? As we have a little discussion about infantry, sure, leave them with just one option infantry. The other player have an archer 7, you're done. But sure, I like that they buff infantry, especially with the unique unit of castles. I agree with that as well. Like, that's the thing with castles, unique units, they never felt powerful enough, right? And they never felt powerful enough. Like, it was really an option to go for, unless it was Huskarls, which were so important to the Goth identity, right? And that's an exception, but ooh, okay, and this is also good for Classic Pro to see, because he sees 3 archery ranges in a row, and that should tell you one thing if you're playing against Huns. One thing and one thing only. That is going to be cavalry archers, which is why I said at the start, Mr. Yo might shake things up here and not just go for cavalry. So it's going to be cavalry archers for Mr. Yo, and of course it's just going to be knights for the Lithuanian player. I also like to see if he's going to try to go for some relics, and let's see how many relics he actually sees. He sees one. Yeah, I think he sees only one. There's one in his base right now, which I hope he figures out, but one-trick infantry ponies will fail. Yeah, probably. your standard Goth player out there, then. I'm gonna cross my fingers. I'm gonna hope that we're actually gonna see that, because if for most cases, there's 2 types of players that adapt to new patches quickly. It's players at a lower level that like to YOLO, because it's possible at lower levels to do so. It's also pro players, because they will understand the change and know how that will affect their gameplay, because well, that's years of experience talking as well. So it wouldn't surprise me that even though that update came out 2 days ago, that pro players will already be the first ones here to try and go for some infantry shenanigans and try that. And maybe even a player like Classic Pro might give ahead. I'm not sure if he had Vikings in his draft. I think so, actually. He might actually give it a shot. You know, probably thinks maybe I need something special here to take out Mr. Yo, and he definitely needs to have something special, because Mr. Yo is a scary opponent. When he has some knights out as well, didn't get the +2 just yet, but he knows he's going to be up against cavalry archers. Well, of course, Mr. Yo is going to try to keep his cavalry archers at home for now, or at least safe for now, because you want to mass these. You need to get to a good number before you can kill the knights. I think you need like 20 of these in order to kill the knights now with one pierce armor, extra pierce armor, I mean. And the thing with why cavalry archers are better than crossbows, in my opinion, you know, I like cavalry archers a lot. It's for one, it's because they have more HP. That's one. Also the fact that also the fact that they have more attack, as you can see, 6+2. Lord Roderick in chat saying, "Hello Prince, lunching with my baby girl and seeing the Basscast." Well, thank you so much, and say hi to your baby girl for me, man. Let's see, speaking about worker efficiency, it would be really neat to see that on the villager bar top center. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. They have some stat here about the worker efficiency for just the villager specifically. Basically this, but then that's cool. The actual numbers are fairly easy to see. I agree. It's actually a nice little bar. I really like that we have this this stat in there as well, just to be able to look at what villagers have been doing over their entire life, what they've been doing in the last 5 minutes, or last minute, I mean. So, 1.5 years. Congrats, man. Congrats. I was gonna get close to the point where they start walking and talking. You know, either one of the two, of course. I was a talker. I didn't walk early on. My little brother started walking really early. I remember my parents being freaked out about that, because he kept walking out of the room. 2 months here trying to keep her and the cat asleep. Well, I'll try to be a bit quiet and not wake both of them up. She says age. Oh, really? Really? You must be so proud. You must be so proud. You know, you're an Age of Empires fan, and then your daughter says it has learned the word age, man. That's awesome. And mine will be born in 2 weeks. Wow, whoa, wow, Zergoud, that's gonna be a big deal, man. Congrats on that. I didn't know that. I always forget that the average Age of Empires viewer and watcher actually is like of an age to have children. Like if you play Minecraft or Call of Duty, you never expect right that wow, Knight's actually getting a lot of kills here. We're talking about babies, but Mr. Yo's getting wrecked right now. 5 villagers have gone down. It's 60 to 42 villagers now. Yeah, Mr. Yo going for some lower economy play. Only has added 1 town center as opposed to the 3 town centers that Classic Pro has gone for. Makes sense too. Knights are more expensive. The thing is though, can he keep his villagers alive? Can he keep them alive while the cavalry archer numbers for Mr. Yo are growing? It's 23 CA already on the field. That have full upgrades, by the way. I think for full upgrades for castle age. Although I wish I could see thumb ring now. That's should be one of those technologies I'd like to see up there. It's a very important one, in my opinion. Yeah, also, I like the Scorpion edition as well. I really like the Scorpion edition because it's so good against cavalry archers, which tend to ball up, as you can see. They don't die very fast to CA as well because of their high pierce armor, man. Headphones are very much plugged in. Ah, good, good. I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, Mr. Yo, of course, trying to break in here, but yeah, these Scorpions are going to stop him from breaking in and doing any significant damage. And yeah, I'm actually surprised to see that the score is still so even. I mean, look at the vill count. It's 72 to 47. You know, Classic Pro doesn't have like 20 knights on the field. It's only 8 actually. So he should probably start getting some more knights out. But the fact is, he has the economy to do that now. He has the economy to spam knights. And yeah, Mr. Yo adding a second town center to save his villagers here. And again, lots of idle time for Mr. Yo as well. Just having some villagers idle there. And that's also good. That's why breaking into your opponent's base is good as well. You know, just causing idle time and especially causing Mr. Yo to come back with his cavalry archers, which are not at the front, killing Classic Pro's villagers. Instead, they're chasing a bunch of weak knights, which Classic Pro doesn't really care about a lot as well. And one thing I kind of want to know is he gathering relics here? Yes. And how many do we have? 1. Awesome. So 1 relic already for Classic Pro, which is actually his 1 attack upgrade because he doesn't have that. Trying to get a villager, gets 2 villagers as well. So these knights, despite getting chased here, still get their vills worth. Get some value out of them a little bit. You know, all the idle time, just few snipes they get here and there. Yeah, looking pretty good. I'm still, you know, the fact that the score is so similar, I think it's going to be due mainly to the fact that Mr. Yo has so much military on the field. Because the vill count is very much in the favor for Classic Pro right now. 86 villagers, and it's still growing. It's still growing here. He's probably also going to try to get some relics. And man, I can't believe he hasn't found that relic in the back of his base yet. Look at that. Like 1 villager building houses will find that relic. Imagine if he knew about that. You know, his knights will already have 10+2 attack. Be very nice. As we now have some knights coming out, or at least some knights created by Mr. Yo. I'm not sure what he's going to do with those knights. As yeah, Classic Pro just hits the gold, gets more villagers. It's still 59 villagers for Yo, 92 for Classic Pro. Now a castle going up at the front of this hill. I love this. I love this so much. Yeah, that's really good, but will it go up? Will it go up? That's only 6 villagers building this. There's not a lot of knights here, though, so... Oh, the knights for the scorpions. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Very good. Well, those knights should be here right now. Those knights should be here right now. They're on their way, so I think you're right. I think those knights were made specifically to kill these scorpions here. Let's see how Classic Pro is going to react to that. He's trying to get his knights in front of this to block the knights from Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo gets 1 scorpion, but not anymore. Maybe 1 more. Okay, 1 more. Maybe if... Oh, actually, he's going to get most of them then. Gonna get most of them, but the castle behind this, 98%, will go up. The hill is for Classic Pro. That is such a great hill to control. Right in front of your base, right on your stone. Protects your wood line as well. You know, the hole that Mr. Yo had made is safe as well. And Mr. Yo will have to find another way to get in. It's house walls and double palisades on the right. There's a town center defending on this side as well. This is a nightmare for cavalry archers because you don't really have them. You can't really run in anywhere. You can't really be mobile and get snipes. You can't snipe villagers easily when they're all contained and safe in your opponent's base. And this is why going cavalry archers on Arabia is kind of frustrating. You know, some maps lend themselves better to cavalry archers because the mobility is more essential. As Classic Pro, yeah, 108 villagers, only 72 for Mr. Yo. And I can't imagine Classic Pro not wanting to go up to the next stage after making a good number of knights here. He queued 7 knights, so he wants to make some knights first here before trying to go up to Imp. And the thing is, going up to Imp here is still tricky, because you're still, you know... I mean, that's still a giant ball of cavalry archers that it hasn't been dealt with. But look at the scorpions. Look, even if they don't kill a lot of cavalry archers, look how many of these are weak now. Just look at the HP, like it's already down half. That's the real strength of scorpions against cavalry archers, in my opinion. Mr. Yo is also trying to raid on the other side, something that, yeah, Classic Pro is going to deal with some knights, as he's also dropping a castle now on the golds in the south, something that Mr. Yo sees now as well. Ooh, sent the knights in, because Mr. Yo has cavalry archers there, though. Some villages could die, although I don't think they can deny this castle, actually. And, yeah, look at that. Yeah, some villagers going down, but like I said, it can't be denied because that's too many villagers building this. This will not be a doubt castle. Castle does go up on the other side. Now that the knights have shifted to the left, Mr. Yo attacking from the right again, and this time bringing some siege as well, which is very dangerous for the scorpions especially. Especially the scorpions. They die so quickly, the mangonels. Ay. Ah, villager going down. Yeah, she got hit. She got hit, yeah. But honestly, I don't think this is going to be a problem, because Classic Pro is like, yeah, that's nice that you're going to raid my town center. I'm going to destroy your town center. I'm not just going to raid it. And there's holes in the wood line, and the knights make it into Mr. Yo's base. The cavalry archers are forward. They have to come back if they want to deal with this. Don't think that is enough cavalry archers, quite enough cavalry archers to kill this many knights with +2 armor. And Classic Pro is going up the imp behind this. And even though the score still favors Mr. Yo, right? Still favors Mr. Yo. I mean, he has a pretty good KD as well, 62 to 52. It's just looking really good for Classic Pro in my opinion. Because as soon as he gets the imp, right, and Mr. Yo is not going to be there anytime soon, he gets the final armor upgrade, and these cavalry archers are not going to do much. They're just not going to do much. They can still run a raid from knights, this is true, but wouldn't surprise me if the Lithuanian player adds some skirmishers of his own. Remember that skirmishers are they are faster moving for Lithuanians, and I do think they get all the upgrades that you need. Yep, so skirmishers for Lithuanians, very powerful unit. You know, they can actually keep up a little bit with cavalry archers. As Classic Pro is going to run away with his knights now. Again, pulling back all this many cavalry archers that were attacking the front was, you know, that's a nice move for you. To keep some pressure away. I can imagine that the next castle will probably go up somewhere over here. If there will be a next castle. He's not mining stone right now, so I'm not sure about that. As Classic Pro is healing up his knights. Is he gonna get herbal medicine as well? I mean, I know that everyone always dunks on that technology, but honestly, wasn't that the tech that we always got when we that we always got when we went did the campaign as a kid? Because I did. Because I wanted to heal up my units. As Mr. Yo finally finding a significant amount of villager kills now, and this is what cavalry archers want to do. This is exactly what they want to do. See, find an open spot, find some exposed villages, and kill them all. And look how the Eco Kitty has suddenly shifted in the favor for Mr. Yo, as he has killed 28 villages this game, and the vill counts have evened out 107 to 103. That is good. As Mr. Yo is also dropping a castle in the front of his base. Like I said, it might be looking good, okay-ish for Classic Pro here, but it's not. I mean, he's not in like a dominating winning position. He is an imp though. He is an imp, something Mr. Yo will not be for about two and a half minutes here. So it's gonna get dangerous for that time span, right? Mr. Yo will have to defend himself against the Cavalier raids that are about to come in. Gets a conversion as well, that's nice. Gets a conversion, Mr. Yo also garrisoning all his units in the castle. That's not something that Classic Pro wants to fight around before getting his upgrades. Hasn't gotten the last armor upgrade either. Couldn't quite afford that just yet. Decided to prioritize the Cavalier upgrade, which gives your knights a lot more HP, gives them more attack as well, which makes sense. But yeah, I should probably go for that final armor upgrade as well once the time arrives. As we still have some skirmishing going on at the front, still like it's good. It's nice that Mr. Yo has so many cavalry archers that he can actually have 2 balls of cavalry archers right now. I don't know. The one thing that's concerning to me is the fact that the Classic Pro's knight number isn't very high. Only 18 Cavaliers on the field, and they're still kind of dying here and there. They still don't have the final armor upgrade as well, which is just a little bit concerning. I think by now he has found that relic, actually. Or not. No! Still not? Oh, are you kidding me? Look at that. One tile, and he would have found that relic. 2 monks going down at the front here for Mr. Yo. Ooh, the Cavalier though, taking an engagement against the cavalry archers. Mr. Yo not pulling them back. And this is the thing with CA. You cannot fight melee fights. You definitely cannot. You only have one melee. You don't even have any base melee armor whatsoever. So these cavalry archers die quick to Cavalier. They can't be anywhere near that. So, as we have Classic Pro throwing up a castle on this hill. I like that. He wants to start trapping down this castle, but it's actually Mr. Yo who's probably going to get the first trap out at this rate. I don't know, Mr. Yo is more resources right now in Imp to do something with. Also, almost has enough stone for another castle here. And remember, these cavalry archers are going to be scary again because they will have bracer, they will also have chemistry, and at that point they can totally deal with the cavalier. Especially since they didn't actually have the last armor upgrade in yet. They're gonna get that now, and honestly, you might ask yourself, was it maybe not worth it to get that upgrade first instead of cavalier? Maybe. I mean, cavalier is a long upgrade to come in, that's true. You have to leave in a few minutes, but great work on streaming, as good as that of anyone of the well-known guys. I'm sure you will have lots of viewers soon if people just find you. Well, thanks, man. Thanks. And thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate that. And that, you know, comments like that make me hopeful that I might actually get some more viewers sometime as well, you know, when people have found me. So, I appreciate it. Thank you. As yeah, the Cavalier have gone down despite having that last armor upgrade, and now Parthian tactics are in, chemistry is in, bracer is in. The only thing that's missing now is the heavy cavalry upgrade, which the heavy cavalry archer upgrade, which is an expensive upgrade to get. Even if you're Huns, you know, your cavalry archers might be cheaper, but that doesn't mean that this upgrade in particular is cheap. Yeah, and now, just still, Classic Pro has consistently been under 20 cavalry. Has consistently been under 20 cavalry. He's trying to take a fight now against these cavalry archers. This is a good fight, actually, because he's fighting under his own town center. Lots of these weren't upgraded yet to heavy cavalry archers, so a lot of them have gone down. But yeah, Mr. Yo will just retreat them to the open field. In the meantime, we have a trap war going on. Mr. Yo trying to hold on this castle, as you can see in the center of the map. Two trebuchets though for Classic Pro, but Hunt trebuchets are more accurate than Lithuanian trebuchets, so they can actually, as you can see, look at that, almost 100% accuracy for these Hunt trebs. How you doing, Nico? Nico, man, how you doing? And yes, capture rates, let's go. Well, it's a 1v1, and I'm totally fine with using capture rates then, because that shouldn't lag too much for me, actually. So, let's go indeed. As the castle for Mr. Yo at the front of his base does go down, but the fact of the matter is that I don't think that Classic Pro really has it in him to really take advantage of that. Only one cavalier on the field. Villagers are dying by the tons on this side. Lots of villas have gone down. And lots of farming economy like denied as well. And now we're seeing the archery ranges. Classic Pro trying to switch into some skirmishers, but the upgrades aren't there yet. And he calls to GG. And Mr. Yo takes the second game as well. And Classic Pro probably feeling a bit demoralized at this point. You know, down 2 games against a legendary player of the game that is Mr. Yo. Can't be something that is very encouraging in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, it looked okay most of the game, as far as I'm concerned. He was the one doing damage. He was keeping out Mr. Yo out of his base. You know, I probably sounded like I was rooting a bit for Classic Pro. That's because I tend to root a little bit for the underdog. I think that's something that is universally shared amongst most humans. Although, I want to be as neutral as possible, obviously. But again, it looked pretty good for him. The only thing that was concerning, and I pointed that out a few times during the game, is that his knight numbers were consistently very low. I don't think he ever got over 20 knights, really. And that's the thing, like, when you take down a castle like this, what you want to do next is take your big ball of cavalry and run right into someone's economy and destroy, right? That's what you want to do, because now suddenly these cavalry archers have to fight you, but they can't fight under a castle, which is where they would want to fight. The fact is, though, that Classic Pro had 1 cavalier on the field at this point. It's... like, everything else was great, right? Castles on the hills, you know, to protect yourself here and there. But yeah, Mr. Yo just everywhere with his cavalry archers. Honestly, I think a castle should have gone up over here as well, just to stop this push from happening. You know, I thought maybe a castle would go up right here on this hill, something. Even a castle right there would have immediately stopped this push, dead in its tracks. But that didn't happen. Classic Pro instead deciding to go for a push down the middle. But the thing is, if you were gonna go for a push, you kind of need the military numbers to do so. Now let's see. He did create 105 cavalier, and that's the thing too. I want to see this. What's the max army high? 32. Okay, so you got about 32 minus the few siege units he had on the field. So around 25 knights maybe as the top. But still, 134 units created and only 25 cavalier as the max is You know, that's concerning. I mean, look at this military count for Classic Pro is always quite low as compared to Mr. Yo's military count, which has always been high. Because he did a great job keeping his CA alive. And look at the KD as a result. 207 to 119. And a lot of those are also going to be villagers, but a lot of those are also going to be military units. And as a result, Classic Pro has had to produce way more villagers than Mr. Yo. And he kept more alive as well. So, yeah, GG. This was a very even game, but Mr. Yo was still in the driver's seat. Let me see. Just quickly check the Discord. Oh, we have a minor break. Awesome. Yeah. So this makes sense to me, right? Classic Pro probably wants to take a short break here to just collect himself after losing 2 games here against Mr. Yo. Probably feels a bit demoralized. Hey, I can actually update the scoreboard too in the meantime while we're at it here. Poof. That like crappy little scoreboard I have going on. Awesome. And for the first time, we have a breather to just recollect ourselves and talk about the draft a little bit. So I will pull up the draft here, so you guys can have a look at it as well. There we go. That's a win for Mr. Yo, a loss for Classic Bro. There we go. In the meantime, oh wait, if I do that, then you guys can. Hang on. Let me restart my game first, and then we'll come back because I do want to get rid of the Age of Empires 1 Scout Cavalry because that mod was still on, and I turned it off, but it didn't change anything in the game. So I'm just gonna restart my game real quick here, so that is gone because. Well, I said I was going to change it, but I am keeping the Wololo sounds just so you know. So if you hear Wololo, that's because I kept it. That's intentional. I might just keep that. I like it. Okay, let's restart the game, and then I will pull up the map draft, and we can have a look at that. I went to the wrong scene, didn't I? Yeah, the way I've set up the hotkeys to go from scene to scene, it really depends on it's numbered, right? So I have like a scene 1 through 6, and sometimes I click the wrong scene here and there. That just happens. Not much you can do about it. All right, we're back in a game. Okay, so I'll just wait for the third game to happen. I am in the official Discord, so I have the information on that. So Krasini will of course tell me when stuff will be going down. Thanks for Krasini, of course, by the way. Mr. Yo is a machine. Besides, he always looks concentratado. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And he is, I must say, like, once I started, like, really following the pro scene, he was one of the players that really stood out to me as, like a very dangerous player to play against. Like, someone that, even if he didn't win, still always felt like he could have won. Like, he could have totally smashed whoever he was playing up against. Especially, he seems to be Viper's kryptonite. I don't know, man. Like, that's how I've always seen Mr. Yo as well. Like, he was that early player that was able to best the snake, at his own game. Yeah, concentrated. So yeah. Okay, well, now we should actually just speculate, like, well, what does Classic Pro want to do here? Because now you're down 2 games, right? I mean, you're putting yourself in Classic Pro shoes. You're down 2 games. You probably don't feel like, not too good, and damn it. I was going to talk, and they're going to go for a game 3 here. Crap. Okay, okay, that's okay. What do we think about the civilizations, though? Which do you think they're going to go for? I hope he's going to pick Vikings and is going to go for infantry. Like, at this point, right, you're down 2 games. The meta plays aren't going to save you against Mr. Yo, because Mr. Yo is a beast of a player, right? And the Classic Pro will know that. He's not silly himself, you know. He knows he will be realistic about his chances here. So perhaps as a result of that, he might try to go for some more YOLO play now. And that is kind of stuff that we like to see. So I wonder, maybe we're going to get to see some Viking infantry. Or maybe we're going to see some Camel Archers or other unique units. Who knows? Not sure what Mr. Yo will be going for here, having Mongols, Burgundians, Byzantines, Celts left. I should imagine probably something like, maybe Burgundians going to go for some cavalry, or maybe he's going to go for Celts, right? He picked that. Not the most conventional Arabia Civ, unless, of course, you're Wong, in which case it is, like, the only Arabia Civ that ever lived. Any case, let's see if I can find the game here. Should be there. And if I'm correct, this time around, all the Scout Cavalry should look normal, but the Wololo should still be there. Looking for the game now. course, I can't find it, so we'll just use the spectate link over here. That should work. Yes, perfect. Ooh, yes! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Alrighty. If you indulge me for just a second, I have to start capture H here as well. Because I had to restart that as well. It's because I don't know why, but if you have capture H running while you close the game, for some reason it does, like it never, it still says playing in Steam, and then you can't restart it, so that kind of sucks. As why are we sped up here? Okay, there we go, perfect. Why are we sped up here? As Mr. Yo is laming, damn it! I don't know why that happened, lel. Anyways, welcome to the third game here between Mr. Yo and Classic Pro. And Mr. Yo, my god. If it wasn't getting worse for Classic Pro at the start, it's just gonna get worse and worse for him now, as an elephant has been lamed. And yes, laming is allowed. Anything that you are legally allowed to do in the game is allowed in this game. You can go forward and lame resources. You can wall in anything you want. You can steal elephants. And yeah, Mr. Yo, very happy, of course, now getting that extra elephant, and I'm not sure yet if Classic Pro has even... he probably noticed it, but I don't think he probably his scout was in the wrong place. Probably knew he couldn't do anything about it, and yeah. Now he's gonna balance out his economy by pushing in some ostrich, so in the end, what he's really sacrificing here is not so much the food, it's mostly the scouting time. But yeah, Mr. Yo, of course, will have extra food. But let's have a look at the civilizations that they've gone for, because that was quite a hectic start. But look at that. Classic Pro has gone for Vikings, a very strong civilization economy-wise. And perhaps we are going to see some infantry shenanigans. The only thing that's concerning about that is that you're up against Mongols. And Mongols, when they see you go infantry... Mr. Yo will just go for some more cavalry archers, and if he was dangerous last game, if you're up against infantry this time around, cavalry archers will absolutely dominate. So, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to get to see berserkers here, although I'd love it. I would love it, because Vikings were a bit nerfed, but slightly buffed again in the infantry department. Really curious to see, are we going to see some infantry here? Like, that's the one question I have right now. And also, is Classic Pro going to be able to take one game off of Mr. Yo? I really hope so for him. Like, this, if I am neutral, I am usually in favor for whoever can win and get us more games. So if Classic Pro can get us to a game 4, perhaps, that would be good for us. That would also be good for his own self-esteem, you know? Because then you still take a game off Mr. Yo, and you can be, you know, that feels... I would feel better about my performance in the tournament. I mean, of course, I am not a pro player. I'm not up against Mr. Yo, hopefully ever. That's scary. But I can imagine that for your own morale, you know, at least you could say, I took one game off Mr. Yo, man. Like, I had him. I almost had him in some other games. I could have maybe even won this. I would feel good about myself as well then, if that happened. So, go Classic Pro. Especially if he's gonna go for Viking infantry, then we're definitely rooting for Classic Pro in this case. Of course, we're just joking a little bit. It's all neutral here, but, well, I am partial to awesome play. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, so in any case, let's just have a quick look at the militia coming forward from Classic Pro. So Classic Pro probably feeling a bit behind. It's like, yeah, that's all nice and all that you go up to fuel lates fast, but I'm gonna try to delay you with my militia, which are on their way. I'm not quite sure where the scout is hanging out. It's at the back of Mr. Yo's base. And how are you doing, Pablo Caraman? Good to see you, man. One of my regulars. I mean, you literally show up most of the times I go online, so I do call you my regular. Really appreciate that you could make it. Just so you know, I'm like really appreciate that you guys actually showed up, because that's one thing that I was kind of nervous about a little bit. Having finished Virgo Cup, and I realized that a lot of the people that watched the channel then were people that came for Virgo Cup, right? Because they played in the tournament themselves as well, and I totally understand that. And then, you know, I was a bit nervous about, are these people actually going to stick around, right? You know, are they going to stick around for me after Virgo Cup is done? And you guys are amazing that you are actually sticking around, you know, to watch my casting, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, my pleasure as well, man. My pleasure as well. Like, it warms the heart. Warms the heart. Of course, as Nico. You see, that's just great. As a stable does go up for Mr. Yo, so that couldn't get delayed here. The berries have been delayed, which of course is a big important food source at the start. Yesterday I joined your Discord with my teammates. I saw that. I saw that this morning when I looked at the Discord. I saw that suddenly the Neo team showed up in my Discord. That's great because that will make it easier to play a show match or something like that. It will be the Red Prince and Neo. That should be fun actually. I would enjoy that. By the way, that's what Mondays are for, by the way. Like, I cast some mid-elo shenanigans on that day, but I also play with viewers. That's, so, like, if you want to play with the Red Prince, for all that's worth, definitely, you're always welcome. Although, you have to, just saying, bring your back braces, because you're gonna have to carry me. Now, of course, having these militia in Mr. Yo's base is still really nice. Is that a hole? Is that a hole? That's a hole! That's a hole! Oh, Mr. Yo is going to be able to quick wall that because of course he is. Oh man. We came for Virgo, but we stay for the great caster. Oh man, thanks you guys. Thanks. That's that means a lot. It really does. Oh man. The question, of course, is how much delay Classic Pro is going to get with these two militia drushes that he's been doing. You know, I mean, this one makes a lot more sense, honestly, because you know, than the first one, because the first one was a surprise to me. First game going for a pre-milled drush is risky, but in this case he got lamed, so it makes sense to me that you go for something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think he got as much value from this one as he did in the first game. Doesn't snipe a villager, doesn't delay Mr. Yo as much, and also it's not man-at-arms now, so yeah, these scouts are at almost full HP, and they are making their way to Classic Pro's base, who has his gold half-walled in here as well, so at least that's pretty safe. He's gonna go for some archers as well. I mean, this doesn't surprise me, right? That we're not going to see infantry and fusiliers. This is not surprising to me. I didn't think we were going to see a lot of men-at-arms here. But we'll see how it's going to go in the Castle Age, honestly. Classic Pro walling up the top of his base as well. I like that. Just keeping yourself a little bit safe. If you're going to go for archers, you probably need a bit of security here and there. Because the mobility will be in favor for Mr. Yo. As he's running in with 4 scouts. Of course, Classic Pro is chasing with his spearman, trying to save this villager. He just finished the walling. That would have been very bad if the scouts had caught him off guard right there. Like this. Yeah, Mr. Yo immediately sees that villager's like, aha, I'm gonna go for that. Unfortunately, wasn't able to really block her as well, so she is saved by the spearman. But yeah, still, you know, it's a good attempt. There's a weak villager on the farms now. Mr. Yo will know that. And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Yo is one of those players that, when they know there's a weak vill on the farm, they're going to try to snipe that. Yeah, Mr. Yo definitely saw that. See? Did you see that? He saw that. Also, did he just lame a farm? I think he just lamed the farm, honestly. That's funny. Hey, why not, right? Why not? In the meantime, though, Classic Pro, and again, this is a good thing about Classic Pro, a really good thing. Like, where a lot of players would have kept their military at home to deal with these scouts, what Classic Pro does, he still sends small groups of military forward to try to delay Mr. Yo. And look, berries are denied for, well, were delayed for a sec, and now the woodline can come under attack as well. These archers do not have fletching though, so this is not an army to kill villagers. It really isn't. It is an army to delay as much as possible. And look, all these scouts are being brought back as well. Mr. Yo investing into skirmishers. So hey, that's what 2 archers in your opponent's base can already do. There's one villager kind of alone right here, so I wonder if Classic Pro is going to try to micro her down. Let's see if he's going to try to go for it. Seems like the kind of thing he would do, maybe, or not. Well, he sees it now. He sees it now, but I guess not. I guess not. Not with this many scouts here. Not with being chased by skirmishers. I think maybe if the scouts weren't here and he does have fletching now actually. But if the scouts weren't here, he might have actually tried to go for that. As the scouts taking a hit there on from the spearman. I'll have to just run away from this now. Waiting for the skirmishers to snipe the spearmen so they can engage the archers. Although Classic Pro not reacting to this, one archer goes down. So yeah. It's almost not even worth saving this at this point anymore, but hey, any archer counts. Wow, these units have balls, man. Like, they're being chased by this army and they're still gonna go back to the front. And how you doing, Chanchilaro, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. How am I doing? I am doing great. I'm casting the next awesome tournament, and there's people in chat to share it with. It's perfect, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, look at this. Classic Pro. Losing an army on the front. He's right here with another army already. But yeah, this time Mr. Yo is prepared. Has invested in skirmishers despite not getting the ranged range armor upgrade on it. But anyways, that's still really good. You know, even if you don't get any Vil kills with it, he's gotten 2 Eco KD in total, so it's not like he didn't get anything out of that. But it's just good to have some pressure. Although good defense from Mr. Yo there, that's good. Fine to studying a bit while watching some good AoE matches. Yeah, man, I feel you. That's what I like to do as well. I love watching. It's just such. I don't know why, but like watching Age of Empires is very soothing to me. It's a nice background thing to have on. Although I must say that, like, when you have a very energetic caster like the host of this event, of course, sometimes it might be a bit distracting because you get too much into Age of Empires and I can't focus on my book. Whoops. Is this the first series of the day? Yes, it is. This is the first series. And also, the schedule command has been updated, so if you want to see what's coming up, you can of course check that out as well. And on the my main scene, I have there's a schedule as well. So yeah, there you go. Hooray! It works. I also was supposed to add a King of the Desert 4 command as well, which just clarifies the tournament. Yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. Just as I said, that's just you know. That's part of the casting rules as well. If you want to cast a tournament, you have to have the logo up, as you can see right there, and the banner and things. And I have no issue with that whatsoever. You know, I'm already thankful enough for Mem for hosting this and making this possible. Because these kind of big tournaments are what keep the scene lively as well. So it's a small thing to do, really. But this is not a small thing to do at all. And look, if you just keep sending archers forward, keep trying to go for some aggression, at some point you should hit something. You should at least get some value. And finally, Classic Pro finding a bunch of villagers on the deer, actually, or ostrich, out here, and one villager has already gone down, and Mr. Yo is trying to run away as good as he can. His skirmishers had to be brought over from the other side, and Classic Pro is still trying to go for the kill. Oh, the spearman almost got a kill. Oh, he was so close. Well, crossbow upgrade and Bakken arrow coming in now for Classic Pro. He might try to decide to take a fight here against these skirmishers, which do have padded archer armor, right? They have some upgrades here, but they're not. They might still not be very good against crossbows. Although, nice skills here for Mr. Yo. I think Classic Pro is probably still going to run away from this. That's too many skirmishers to deal with, even if you have 5 crossbows. He's trying to micro it down for now, but yeah, Mr. Yo confidently microing up the hill. And yeah, Classic Pro realizing, nope, that's not really, I shouldn't stay with that. And wait a minute. We have a knight from the Viking player. Not something that Mr. Yo is probably going to expect, but then again, if you're going to make a lot of skirmishers and go for elite skirms, probably, I mean, this is not a bad move. It's not necessarily a bad move. Now, we are getting to the mid-game, and what that means is, as we have a university being dropped here by Mr. Yo, what that means is that this is going to be the most difficult part of the game for Mongols. You know, it's the part where they don't have an eco bonus, and then you're up against Vikings, which will have a way better economy than you do. Look at that, 78% versus 71%. And Mr. Yo doesn't even have wheelbarrow. The question is, what are we going to do against the Vikings here? And it looks like Mr. Yo instead has decided to go for some archery ranges, and that is going to be cavalry archers once more. And as a result, I'm sad to say that I don't think we're not going to get to see infantry from Classic Pro. That wouldn't make sense against cavalry archers. It's just too easy to kill them. And I agree, that is a pretty big wall, huh? That's a huge wall indeed. Like, Mr. Yo has never been shy about walling half the map if he felt like it could benefit him. And now Classic Pro doesn't have a lot of upgrades on his cavalry. And remember, no bloodlines on these, no final armor upgrades. So these knights go down fast. Go down really fast, and that is a problem. As Classic Pro is trying to snipe these cavalry archers, yeah, but Mr. Yo dodging the shots. It's just Classic Pro not really able to do a whole lot of damage to Mr. Yo here. And the fact is also, Mr. Yo is not adding other town centers again, just like the last game. But he proved last game that isn't... Oh, actually, yes, he is adding a town center. He proved last game he doesn't need to add a whole lot of economy here to keep up with the person with the better economy and still win here. Now, one difference, though, is that this time around, Classic Pro is going for a ranged unit, especially. He's not making any more knights. I don't think that makes sense at this point. I think siege probably the way to go here, so that's what he's planning. Or actually, that's Mr. Yo's siege workshop. Never mind. But Classic Pro for now holds that hill, yeah. So Mr. Yo knows no sneaky siege workshop this time around. He will have to place it back a bit further. Something that Classic Pro now sees. That's important. That's important. He's now aware that there's siege. That siege might be coming forward. Has his own siege as well. Oh, look at this. Mr. Yo probably didn't see that yet. And first shot hits. That's a good shot. Now on the skirmishers, Mr. Yo trying to dodge. Dodges his shot. Very nice. We'll have to run away now because skirmishers dive fast. Dive fast to Mangonel. 3 skirms already going down there. This is good defense for Classic Pro. Oh, Mr. Yo, you're just taunting Classic Pro now. Let's see if he chats and says, I just got thumb ring. Because, of course, Vikings, they do not get thumb ring anymore. It's been taken away from them. So these crossbows are less good than they used to be. They're just not as good. They're worse, right? Not as good anymore. I mean, look at that. Mr. Yo spreading out his infantry as well. Yesterday, Matt was just talking about how players that go 1 TC are winning more matches in the tournament than the ones that go for an early 2nd or 3rd TC. It seems almost counterintuitive that happens, but it makes perfect sense to me, actually. I mean, to Mem and to you guys as well. When I say it like that, I don't mean that you guys wouldn't understand it, please. But, you know, because, like, when you invest in a 2nd and a 3rd TC, again, it's gonna stump your aggression, because you're investing a whole lot into booming. You know, you're waiting to get to a nice mass of villages and then move out with a lot of military. And if you can get to that point, you should have a good position. As we have a nice dodge there from Classic Pro. Even gets to Mangonel on the hills. That's really nice for him. You know, you can, at some point, right, the economy players should win games, right? They should win games in theory, but early aggression can pay off big time. Because if you can get, as we have a nice shot from Mr. Yo, but also for Classic Pro, Mr. Yo actually killing this Mangonel allowed Classic Pro to get the Mangonel kill as well, because now it was basically a delete. But yeah, if you have a good aggression behind, first get some military out, first get position right, try to keep the vill numbers of your opponent down as much as you can. Aggression plays can totally work, and there's few players that have the defense skills necessary to stem that early tide, right? Classic Pro's up. Wait a minute, Viking OP, right? I mean, that's the one thing, right? That's the one thing that is the danger of going for low eco aggression plays. Mr. Yo is at 63 villagers. He's behind Classic Pro. He's not gonna get up the imp as fast. You know, if he sees Classic Pro being up, he would still have to market abuse his way up here. Classic Pro, even though they nerfed the Vikings, right, with no thumb ring, they didn't touch the Viking economy, and the Viking economy is strong as ever. And with 77 villages, Classic Pro has already clicked up. And if he can get to Arbalest first, which was always the strength of Vikings, that could still get really dangerous for Mr. Yo, especially since I don't think he can macro his way up the imp this as fast as last time. I don't think so. Like, he's still getting his vill counts up right now. Classic Pro also buying some stone. Ooh, buying some stone buying some stone so he can repair the town center. There you go, that makes sense. Yeah, there you go. Because if you have 0 stone in your bank, you can't repair town TCs. Even though, right, it doesn't cost any stone to repair, as you can see. Costs a lot of wood, though. It's actually double the wood that the town center costs to repair a TC. So, yeah, having to continuously sit over here and repair your TC is kind of annoying for Classic Pro, I'm sure. As that shot definitely landed. That shot landed, but yeah, of course, didn't kill any CA. It's gonna be imp in about 30 seconds. And I'm not sure if Arbalest might definitely make a difference here. It should. Now, it's only 70 crossbows on the field for now, and the fact of the matter is also that Classic Pro is spending a whole lot of wood repairing this DC. Now, he wants to keep this up as good as he can, as he now hits Imp, and let's see what Mr. Yo is going to do to respond against this. I'm not sure if you can macro your way up the Imp here with the resources that he has. He'd have to sell his stone and things like that. He immediately is idling his town center. See that? He's not producing villages anymore. Or now he is. Okay, never mind. My god. That's the curse of the caster. Just as you say something, the opposite happens. That's just the way it is. As Classic Pro desperately wants to keep this DC up, but it's just on the brink of going down, and down it goes, and he's running away with all the villagers in the bank right now. As a result of all that repairing, he doesn't quite have the resources, or didn't have the resources yet to go for Arbalest, so even in this fight, it doesn't really benefit him so much, the early imp. Classic Pro, despite being an imp, I'd still say he's behind to Mr. Yo. You know, the vill counts aren't that far apart. Mr. Yo still has a really good position on his hill in the center of the map. You know, he can choose to push to the right. He can choose to push to the left. He even made a hole in a wood line here with a mangonel. But it will be Arbalest now. It will be Arbalest that will be coming out. Arbalest, of course, have the range to snipe these mangonels from a distance. Because, well, it's only 7 range for mangonels. 8 range for the Arbalest. Unless you're Britons, in that case, it's even easier, but more range. Yeah, so it looks like Mr. Yo is trying to shift his attention to the right. He knows there's gold over there, but Classic Pro actually isn't on that gold for now. I'm not actually sure where he's taking gold. Wait a minute. Where's he taking gold? He doesn't have gold. No wonder he was so maniacally trying to stop this DC from going down. Classic Pro right now is just off of gold whatsoever. Does he see this gold in the back? He does. Okay, so he could go to a gold in the back there. And I think it's very important that he notices that gold as well. You know, the fact that the map is yellow definitely doesn't help you here. You know, it kind of obscures that fact. Classic Pro coming forward some Arbalest first. While Mr. Yo is breaking right into Classic Pro's base. There's not a lot of Arbalest here to defend now. Mr. Yo getting some nice kills as well. Bringing in 4 mangonels at the same time. Some Arbalest going down in Classic Pro's base. Still determined to push forward here. I mean, this is something that I admire from Classic Pro. Just the tenacity to go for military. Even when it is really a situation you kind of want to have. I want to have some military in the back, but yeah, Mr. Yo, I didn't think it was going to take him long, but also macros his way up to Imperial Age as well. And I mean, I admire the tenacity, but I agree in this case that maybe clearing your base is maybe the priority as well. Especially if you're going to run into the town center on the way into Mr. Yo's base. Because now you're just continuing to lose economy here. This base is just not going to get cleared up. He's been off of gold for the longest time. He has had to switch into skirmishes, and I don't think that this game is going to go in the favor of Classic Pro. He probably knows that too. So Mr. Yo comes forward with another castle right on Classic Pro's face. I don't think Classic Pro can deny that. It will deny that extra gold, or the main gold. I'm not actually sure which gold that was. I think this was his main gold, actually. Not anymore, it's not. Not anymore, it's not. Well, some Arbalest did actually make it through, but yeah, now you have Elite Skirm as well for Mr. Yo, which will have most upgrades, not the last armor upgrade, which would have been a problem, but not when there's only 6 Arbalest on the field. Yeah, I mean, Classic Pro, he's microing here as good as he can, but the Lion is already telling him, get out of this game. Get out of my game. Lion is very territorial. Castle is going to go up. I don't think he can deny this. This cannot be denied. Classic Pro dropping a castle on the left himself to try to defend this corner as well, to protect this part of his economy. He's had to expand a lot to the north to keep it safe, but yeah. A classic get out of my game castle, indeed. I mean, if it actually goes up and you're not dealt, you know, then yes, it is very much a 105 castle. Very much so. Yeah, more siege workshops. Yeah, I mean, again, the cavalry archer numbers are pretty good as well. Remember that Mengudai could even come out of this castle if Mr. Yo really wanted to go for that. Although, you know, why not stay with cavalry archers for now? It has worked out perfectly so far. And remember also that the Mongols, if they really wanted to go for some cavalry as well, Vikings only have pikemen to deal with that. Pikemen with chieftains, yes, but still pikemen. So, no halberdiers for them. As we have Mr. Yo just getting his upgrades. He's getting drill as well, so he wants the fast siege. You know, drill makes Mongol siege units work really quickly, which is why if you do bombard cannon dodgeball, you get Mongols, obviously. Classic Pro again going for a counterattack, and again, if you don't think you can take the fight on the front, then going for a counterattack is not the worst. You know, especially if there's nothing in your base this time around. But it's just. It is not looking good for Classic Pro. 123 villagers for Mr. Yo against 111 for Classic Pro. The military numbers are similar, but a lot of Mr. Yo's military is a power unit. Oh no, Classic Pro trying to drop a castle on the right to protect this main gold. And, could it get even worse? It's a doubt castle. Doubt. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, but that's good. Again, Mr. Yo sticking around a bit longer than he probably should have. A lot of cavalry archers going down, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's like, okay, I've probably lost this game already. We should just make some berserks here as well. And honestly, in this case, probably makes sense because look what's coming to the base of your castle. The trebuchets are like, nope, noping out of there. That's siege ram coming forward. That's 6 siege ram in total. That castle is gonna go down really quickly to this. It's gonna go down really quickly. GG, good luck next. Yeah, it's not far away. It's not far away, this. Oh, man. Yeah, that castle's gonna go down. So if we were hoping for a berserk play, these berserks are just there to kill the siege ram. But yeah, the castle crumbles. And with that, I think the hopes for Classic Pro in this game crumble as well. He's playing on because it's the last game. He's playing on, you know, to make it his best effort that he can. You know, just to try to do as much damage to Mr. Yo as he possibly can. Explore every possibility. But yeah, there is a house base on the right side. You know, castle on the left is down. Hussar raids could start at any moment if Mr. Yo felt like it. You know, town center after town center going down. I mean, drill siege ram are so, you know, level towns so quickly. I mean, just look how fast the town goes down. Like, these siege ram don't care at all. And it's just so much going on. Lots of idle villages for Classic Pro as well. A siege ram chasing a trebuchet at the back of your base. There is a little counterattack going on at the same time. But the thing is, at this point, counterattacks are not going to just do it anymore. You need a big ball of archers yourself to start pushing down the middle. Something that is just not possible anymore. I mean, I'm surprised how many villagers Classic Pro has kept alive. You know, how many villas are still working technically. He actually has a bigger worker efficiency than Mr. Yo's economy right now. Just think about that. Like, Mr. Yo has idled a lot of his economy for a few archers here and there. Classic Pro has the better efficiency, and he's still making berserks. He's getting the infantry armor as well. He wants to keep this castle up as good as he can. You know, he's still fighting. He's still trying to go for this. He's still trying to trap down these castles. But yeah, one siege ram ending that hope quite quickly here. Still has access to gold. This is the thing as well. But he has to keep these castles up. He has to keep the TCs up. It's very important that he does. Think maybe this castle stays up. It's so close. 1000 HP. I think it will stay up to this thanks to the berserks. But this town center goes down. Ay. As yeah, I mean, at some point you just have no more corner to expand to. As Classic Pro now fighting with villagers, and honestly, why not, right? Why not? You kind of need to do something against these freaking rams, which have -3 melee armor. So villagers do okay against them. They do okay. But it's a desperation move, right? It's a desperation move. I don't think we're going to go to a game 4. It just does not look good for Classic Pro here. It's just... He's defending admirably. He really is. But Siege Ram are the bane of archer units. You know, luckily you have a unique unit that is melee. Like, that is what's saving these castles right now. And Classic Pro doesn't have TCs. Of course he doesn't. Oh my god. Yeah, it just no TCs whatsoever. Now you'll see the Vilcon probably drop, because like what pros are really good at is under this amount of pressure still make villagers, right? Still make villagers as the market goes down. No more market abuse for you. Still make villagers and keep your Vilcon up that way, but that's not possible anymore because the TCs have gone down. My god. Watching the best caster, you guys flatter me. Best caster. I'll put it in my name. The Red Prince, the best caster. Well, not a lot of berserks this time at the base of the castle. That's 4 siege ram, and this castle should melt. It should absolutely melt here, even though it's stone. Yeah, that castle is gonna go down. What's going on this side? Wow, one berserk is trying to deny a castle right now. You can't have idle TC if you don't have any TC, and this is very true. This is the meme. This is the meme. Also, welcome to chat, the Puni. Hey, you know, you can't rate, and also you can't rate my villas if I don't have any villagers, right? As we have heavy Scorpion now coming in from Mr. Yo, but it is already not necessary anymore. Mr. Yo winning his set against Classic Pro. I think the expected result as well. Classic Pro unfortunately wasn't able to get a game off of Mr. Yo. And oh my god, yeah, 150 villagers. Mr. Yo, like, it's almost an overboom, but he knew. He didn't need it. He only needed 17 military, or like around 30 military to do this. Because the amount of damage he was doing, the fact that Classic Pro was on ranged units, don't do particularly well against Siege Rem, obviously. Yeah, it's just a great game. And look how much is left of Classic Pro down. Not that much. His empire has crumbled like his castles. GG. This was a good game, though. It was a good game, but honestly, never really felt like Classic Pro was really threatening Mr. Yo this game. Like, the first two games, it felt more even to me. It felt more where Classic Pro had some opportunities, especially the second game. I think there was a lot of chances that he could have taken there to maybe get a game on Mr. Yo. This game, not so much. It felt more in Mr. Yo's control, this one. I think Mr. Yo was very much in his element. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Yeah, I agree. And he played well. I agree. I would have liked for him to get a game, definitely. I never want anyone to go down with just one without winning a game against your opponent. That always sucks. But at least he can still look back on his performance, and I think he can be proud of that. You know, like, you still go up against Mr. Yo, and he is just in a league of his own, man, Mr. Yo. And I think Classic Pro will know that as well. You know, when you go up against a veteran, that will probably be nerve-wracking. It makes perfect sense to me. So I don't think he should have to fault himself at all here. As wow, look at these technologies. That's actually pretty cluttered. As well, no one pulled a Nikov here. Or I mean, I still call it a Nikov, even though it's not. You know, Nikov is pretty good with this actually. But we still, you know, it's the same with Doubt. We still call it a Doubt Castle, even though Doubt doesn't drop as many Doubt Castles anymore as he used to. Although I remember in Red Bull Wololo, I still distinctly remember a quite high number of Doubt Castles from this one player. So it's not like the meme isn't correct. It actually, it's a correct meme. That's why it's so funny. Yeah, great KD there for Mr. Yo. 197 kills to 157 losses. Lost a bunch of units as well. Like, it's not like he kept his Cavalry Archer ball alive this time around. Like, a lot of them did die. But they died doing what they were supposed to do, right? You know, and like, even though the army heist of a similar size this time around, it's just Classic Pro. He never was able to do a lot of economy damage to Mr. Yo. Like, Mr. Yo never lost a whole lot of villagers, so I don't know. In my opinion, there are 4 players that are above all: Viper, Hera, Leary, and Yo. Yeah, I can see that list as being a true list. Like I think that is the absolute core top right now at the moment. Yeah, and I think also for the first time in a long time, I think mentioning that list of names, and I don't really see any of them that can really consistently dominate the others. Like, they're all a match for one another, which is so much fun. Honestly. Because, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind Viper dominating tournaments either. I mean, he dominated tournaments because he was the best player, and he deserved to win, right? But I don't know, it's just so much more fun when you don't really know, where a tournament is not like who's going to take a game off a Viper, and instead it's going to be who's going to win here. Is Viper actually going to win? That's much more exciting to me, personally. Which is why Viper's win in Red Bull Wololo 5 felt so huge and momentous, because he was the underdog. He wasn't, you know, people didn't consider him the top dog in that tournament. They thought Leary, they thought Dowd was going to win. They thought Hera might, you know, have a very good shot to win the tournament. And Viper was kind of seen as like, oh, is he actually gonna make it there? And then he still wins. It's perfect. Tato being one of the most intelligent players in the game. You know, I would agree with that. Now, the thing is that I don't personally know a whole lot about Tato's play. I must say, from all the pro players, I've actually seen him play the least. You know, which is on me, obviously. So I'd like to improve my knowledge of that. I do know that Tato is one of those strategizing players. Like, a lot of these strategies that we see used by pro players, well, developed by Tato, like the guard tower defense, or I remember in Hidden Cup that he and Dowd had such great strategies as well. You know, they thought it was the max, but it was actually Dowd and Tato, which was great. I'm not gonna say which it was, so I won't spoil it, because if you still want to rewatch those games, I recently did, and it was awesome. Looking at the vill count there, yeah, 161 max villagers for Mr. Yo. Jesus Christ. You know, he didn't lose a lot of villagers as well. Like, the difference is significant. A 50 villager loss here for Classic Pro. Only 24 here for Mr. Yo. So, like I said, the counterattacks for Classic Pro never really doing the damage. And I agree that one time that he sent his army forward when he was being attacked at his own base, maybe his his drive for aggression got the better of him there. You know, he is one of those players that likes to send it forward, and I think he took too much damage there in the middle. I think he took too much damage trying to defend with military that he reinforced with, and then his counterattack didn't really do anything. So it's a double whammy, right? You don't do counter damage, and you lose villagers at your own base. Oh, whoops. I still wanted to look at the APM. Kapow! What would that even sound like? Imagine being in Classic Pro's room if he has 210 actions per minute. That's crazy. 210, that's like 3 actions per second. You must be clicking fast then. And that's only on average. That's not the actual number. So, oh man. Woof. Well, GG, man. GG.